Good afternoon, and welcome to this, our first check-in of 25-26. Today, we're going to be talking about WIDA screeners and the ACCESS test. First, I want to start out by saying welcome back. And in case no one has told you, you are amazing and appreciated. And thank you for doing what you're doing. So as always, we have our community agreements. Just be sure that you're welcome to ask questions or speak your truth. We may not always find solutions, but I will do my best to find out answers to any questions you have. We also continue to have our EL blueprint that addresses these statements. And today we're going to talk a little bit about our shared responsibility and having well-prepared educators. And as I said, today we're going to be talking about the WIDA Screener and ACCESS testing. I'm also going to share some WIDA updates and some DESE news and PD opportunities. The note taker link is going to be in the chat. If you will please sign in to show that you're here, and all of the slides and links will be in the note taker as soon as we complete this session. So I found this quote a few weeks ago, and I think it kind of sums up everything that we do. All of the great things that happen start with a series of small things and that are brought together. So this quote from Vincent van Gogh says just that great things are done by a series of small things brought together. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with some small things and hopefully end up with information that we can use. All right. So starting out with our check-ins for 25-26, August that we're having right now, again, screening and ACCESS testing. September, we're going to talk about advocacy, trauma-informed practices, and some systems of support. November, we're going to revisit the pathway to graduation for our secondary students. In January, we're going to talk a little bit about grading and retention and success criteria. In February, we're going to talk about navigating change, and maybe by that time we'll have a few more answers as to what's going on with our EL program at the national level. And then in March, some cross-curricular supports for English learners, and that's been a big emphasis at our department. We're doing a lot of cross-curricular trainings. I'm going out with many of the content area directors to their meetings and giving an EL perspective so that we can show how we're integrated into all content areas. And then in April, we're going to revisit special education and English learners, and May, evaluating your language program, which is something that's supposed to be done on an annual basis and is part of what happens after you receive your scores. As always, all of our monthly check-ins will be recorded, and all of the information is available in the check-in hub for you to go back and revisit. Some PD for this year. We have 2 planned PD workshops for 25-26. The first one will be on October 7th. It's limited to 35 participants. There is a flyer linked here that gives you more information. The topic is engaging secondary newcomers in content area literacy, and this is a brand new offering from WIDA. It will be a one-day in-person meeting with a WIDA representative and will be held at the Truman Building here in Jefferson City. You need to enroll on the DESE curriculum calendar. The link is found here at the top of the page, and that you need to enroll for that by September 26th. All right. The second offering is mathematical meaning making, which is going to be a 2-day virtual event. It will be held on October 28th and November 4th. You need to attend both sessions. Again, you will enroll through the curriculum calendar, and you need to enroll for that offering by October 10th. And again, there is a flyer with more information linked on the slide. All right, Mel also has some offerings for us this year. We will have the Southwest Mel Fall Conference on September 16th. It will be at the MSU DAR Agricultural Center. The keynote speaker is Dr. Andrea Hollingsfeld. So you can check out this flyer linked on the slide for more information and the registration link. We'll also have Advancing Equity for Multilingual Learners through the WIDA ELD standards. That is going to be presented by Ruslana Westerlin at the Ed Plus Center in St. Louis on October 20th, and that is an all-day event. There is a cost involved for that offering, and you can find more information at the links there. The third thing that I want to share with you is the Elevate Conference, which will be held June 3rd and 4th in St. Louis. And as more information is available, we will post that at our next, when it becomes available, at one of our next offerings. All right, self-paced learning continues for the coming year. You can still view last year's sessions until the end of August. On September 1st, the 25-26 offerings are available. There are 2 brand new, this Exploring WIDA Pre-K 3 Essential Actions and Newcomers Promoting Success Through Strengthening Practice. These others have been there previously, and I wanted to stress that these are available to all Missouri educators. So if you know anyone that would benefit from viewing these, there is no fee involved. They are free. They can be used for professional development within your schools or on your own at just a self-paced learning. There's also an offering from Immigrant Connections. They are going to take applications for 1 day of free cultural immersion PD. They received a grant that allows them to offer this free of charge to one district or school with up to 75 educators and staff. If you're interested in learning more, again, there is a link on this page. The applications are due by September 12th, 2025. From WIDA, some updates I wanted to share with you. The 2025 annual conference registration is now open, and this event takes place in Seattle, Washington on October 28th and 30th of 2025. There is also a virtual track available on October 27th. You can go to, again, a link on this in this paragraph to find out more about this year's conference. And they ask that you spread the word using the resources from their communications toolkit. Also from WIDA is an upcoming webinar about multilingual learners and writing. This is a free workshop on August 28th from noon till 1 o'clock. You need to pre-register for this offering. But again, it's just in a few days, so you need to register quickly. Also, they have Implementing WIDA English Language Development Standards Framework. This is a focus bulletin taking the genre-based approach to curricular development using Curriculum Amplification Guide. It gives you steps to integrating the standards for multilingual learners. And there is a template tool that can be used alongside with this focus bulletin to help you with the standards framework. Now, WIDA spent the summer updating their website. They have a new Engaging Families and Communities webpage. It has several resources like what is the WIDA Screener, what is the alternate screener, and what is WIDA ACCESS. These are handouts for families in many languages. Also updated on the WIDA web pages, all of the screener pages have been combined into one single page. So you only have to go to one site to find all of those screeners. They created a new WIDA alternate screener web page and screener score calculator page. The 3 WIDA ACCESS web pages have also been combined into one page. And content from the alternate scores and reports webpage have been moved into the WIDA alternate access webpage. Each of these web pages includes resources that can be shared with families. Other WIDA updates, what to know, WIDA assessments in the 25-26 school year. So in 25-26, we're going to be receiving a brand new access assessment. So this link talks all about that new assessment. There's also a back to school guide. WIDA Access in 25-26 gives you more information about that new assessment. The accessibility and accommodations manual update has been posted. Generating the overall composite scale score for English learners with disabilities who are missing domain scores is available through this link. And the new model online site. So they are no longer housed within the WIDA website. They are on their new independent test platform. So all of these links take you to that information. Okay, something else that WIDA has to offer are the new plan curriculum instruction and classroom assessment with the new WIDA language charts. These explore how you can support collaboration and improve teaching and learning for multilingual learners. They are going to be using the expectations of the new WIDA Access. And you can go on to the site here at the bottom on how to use our new language charts right now for more information of what those are and how you can use them. So I invite you to do that as well. Now, some updates from the United States Department of Education. In case you didn't know, the 2025 Dear Colleagues letter has been formally rescinded. Now, I want to make sure that you remember this was never a law. This was a guidance document. All of the civil rights are still in force, and all requirements for education agencies to overcome barriers is still required through EEOA. Several other U.S. Department of Education documents related to civil rights are missing from the U.S. Department of Ed website. I have these downloaded and I have shared links to those for you in case you cannot find them or if you hadn't downloaded them in the past. So it's not that they've been rescinded or anything, but they're not easily available through the website any longer. These documents at the bottom of the screen are still active. The DLC fact sheet for parents, OCR fact sheet for migratory children, the fact sheet for EL students, and the equal rights to public education, regardless of immigration and citizenship status. Those are all still active on the website. These links at the bottom have to do with how others are approaching some of the new regulations that are in place. And one talks about a lawsuit that has come into play. So I invite you to read those for more information. Also from USED, there is a order on federal grant making that went into effect on August 7th, a new executive order. There is a summary memo where you can read more about that. And also information on Title VI certification requirements. And again, there are links here so that you can go find out more about that if you are interested. All right, with that, I'm going to jump right into talking about screeners. First of all, I want to make sure that we understand that there are 3 questions from the language use survey that are required as part of the enrollment process. What was the student's first language? Which languages or language does the student use or speak at home and with others? And which language or languages does the student hear at home and understand? Those 3, even if you are doing your enrollment online, need to be part of the enrollment process. We would like for you to use the language use survey that is provided by DESE, but at minimum, you need those 3 questions. If any of the responses to those 3 questions notes another language other than English, then the student would be considered a potential English language learner, and the district must take steps to determine if they qualify for an EL program. That might involve giving the rest of the language use survey and those interview questions to parents to get a better picture of the student's English status, whether they truly have a lack of English language that needs to be addressed. So we've identified them as a potential English learner, but this is just one tool. If they answer one of those 3 questions, as I said, with another language, that means we're going to have to do a deeper dive into gathering information and see if it is warranted to complete the screener. If at any time the potential English learner has a deficit in English where it's going to keep them from being successful in the classroom, the screener should be given. LEAs are required to use the WIDA screener as the screening assessment to determine if they qualify for the LIEP, the Language Instructional Education Program. Within 30 days of the school year, any student identified as a potential English language learner should be screened. For later enrollment, they should be assessed within 15 days. Okay, there are some exceptions to that. The first exception, if the student comes from another school in Missouri, or if they come from another state that is also part of the WIDA consortium, the student should have WIDA screener or ACCESS reports that tell us where they are on the English proficiency scale. Those students would not need to be rescreened. You can use their previous score reports that should be in their cumulative file to place them or exit them, put them on monitor status. Okay. Another exception are students who have been in the United States for less than 4 months and who demonstrate evidence that they have very limited or no exposure to English. These students may be formally identified as English learners through the newcomer screener kit rather than using the online screener. Now, the newcomer screener kit must be submitted within 15 days of enrollment. And the reason for that is if they do not qualify, if after the screener kit has been reviewed and it's determined that it is not applicable for that student, they will have to turn around and take the WIDA screener. So that has to be done within 30 days. So we need to get the screener kit submitted within 15 days in case you have to go back and give the WIDA screener. And hopefully I am not over inundated with a lot of those screener kits and can get to those and get a response to you within the 15 days so that we can make sure that those students are covered. Now, one other thing I want to point out is this does not apply to potential English learners who are in kindergarten through first semester of first grade. Those students still have to be given the kindergarten screener. So the screener kit cannot be used for kindergarten through first semester of first grade. All right. So depending on the grade level of the student and the semester when they are being screened, there are 6 possible assessments to be taken. This chart outlines what assessment should be given to first semester and second semester students. The third column will tell you, based on what grade they're in and what semester of the year, what assessment they will take. And again, the newcomer kit is available to those students with less than 4 months and no English exposure. We also have a new WIDA alternate screener. And so that's what we're going to speak about on this page. The new WIDA alternate screener is a pencil paper test that helps identify the students with the most significant cognitive disabilities in grades K through 12. This is a team decision. And again, it is only for those students with the most significant cognitive disabilities. And it replaces any checklists that you would have used in the past. So the new alternative screener should be used for all of those students. It takes about 30 minutes or less to complete, although it is not timed. There are a total of 9 questions across the 4 language areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. All right. Students who are identified as qualifying for an alternate assessment can take the WIDA alternate screener. And most often these are students who have a severe cognitive disability or have experienced a traumatic brain injury or autism whose characteristics prevent them from participating in the WIDA screener. And they can take the alt access until they're no longer in need of EL services. There was a decision tree developed by WIDA to help make the decision of who should participate. And I'll let you read that. This should help in the decision-making process. All right. And next is the kindergarten screener. The WIDA kindergarten screener is also individually administered paper pencil test, and it helps identify students as English language learners. The screener can be downloaded from the WIDA website or purchased as a kit. It is activity-centered, and the students stop when they reach the extent of their current language skills. The test should take about 40 minutes for administration. Some take less time, some take longer, depending on their abilities or depending on how much they like to talk. It must be administered within 30 days of enrollment, as I said, and it is locally scored. After the screener is completed, there is a website where you can upload the scores and it will give you a screener report. Students are required to be tested in all 4 domains before you can identify them as language proficient, English language proficient. And we know that most kindergarten students who are entering kindergarten will struggle with reading and writing. So that is why we normally would only screen them with listening and speaking modalities only. However, if you speak with the student and you believe that they could complete all 4 modalities, then you can go ahead and give them all 4 domains and exit them at that time if they successfully complete all 4 domains. But again, a potential English learner in kindergarten has to be identified in all 4 domains before they can be deemed proficient in English. So for first semester kindergartners only taking listening and speaking, the proficiency level scores from the screener can be used to plan differentiated levels of support. The students would be identified as receiving services in the student information system. And all first semester potential English learners who have only taken listening and speaking domains have to take the ACCESS test before they can be considered for reclassification as English proficient. Whoops. Second semester kindergartners and first semester first grade students will take all 4 domains. So they could test as proficient just taking the screener. And again, proficiency is a 5.0 or above. Okay. The WIDA online screener for grades 1 through 12 is an